Welcome back to NYIT Roundtable. I'm Tania Carvalho. A few moments ago, we were just talking about cyber predators and internet security with two of our panelists. Today, we have Brian Heid, who is with the Technology Crime Unit of the Nassau DA's office, and Rory Forrestal, who is with the Suffolk County Computer Crimes Unit.
Hi.
All right.
Oh.
So last week, we left off with cyberbullying. We were talking about that in schools. Do you have anything else that you want to add about that?
Yeah, I think we were talking about whether we were seeing a rise or in the crime rates and the offense rates and whatnot. I can really say that over the last maybe year or two, it's really taken a dramatic turn towards there's more of it. It's more violent. It's more dramatic. It's happening at a much meaner level, I think is a good thing to call it. It really is. For whatever reason, the kids now have gotten very, very vicious in the actions they take when they cyberbully somebody. And it's actually caused suicides across the country, which I think is a very, very sad thing.
And how about sexting?
Yeah,
what exactly is it?
That's actually a separate issue from the cyberbullying, but now they're starting to dovetail together, which is a big concern to us. The sexting phenomenon, it's been around for a while. The kids will go out when it used to be just computers and speak sexually or inappropriately back and forth to each other. And then it took the leap over to cell phones, so they married the terms, sexting and texting back and forth and everything else. And of course, the phones now, you can't buy one without a camera. So that brought another dimension to that whole phenomenon there, where kids were either coaxed or just took inappropriate pictures of themselves and then would send them to a boyfriend or to a friend or to somebody they were flirting with, or even, unfortunately, sometimes a complete stranger.
And what drives these kids to do these things? Do they just not know any better?
You know, I don't think the cause and effect is there in their adolescent development is what it is. They think it's part of their sexual development. It really is the curiosity thing, and they may be acting out sexually and everything else. And they marry that with the technology without the realization that once that image or picture gets out there, it's out there forever. It's one thing with words. It's a whole nother animal when it's a picture, because it's going to go viral. Somebody's going to take it and go.
One of the ways I like to say, it's like they start with exploring and experimenting, but that can lead to exploitation. Basically what happens is children being children and having access to this technology, the webcams, the cell phones. The new iPhone apparently has a phone with a camera that actually faces the person, so you can web chat on your iPhone. These things open up an opportunity to where children who are starting to experiment and learn about themselves and flirt and exploring that relationship out there with either people they do know from school or the people that they think they know on the internet, and they start putting themselves out there. But that can lead to exploitation and blackmail. A lot of times they think what's private on the internet is private because they hear the word private chat room, or they're in or private webcam chat, and they think it's just them and the other person. But a lot of times that webcam chat room is open to everyone in the chat room. And as you can see when you see the videos that are often on television on some of these programs like Chat Roulette, they think that that's just me and another person anonymous, but there's a reason that you're looking at that video on television or on the internet. It's because it can be recorded, and oftentimes it is, and that can be used to blackmail children into doing more or worse things on the internet, or just to hurt them on the internet.
And how does it lead to cyberbullying? Because I think you mentioned that.
Well, that's exactly what Brian was saying. We see a lot of blackmail cases where they'll get an inappropriate picture. The kids will go out and do a webcam show on one of these new offshoot sites that are out there where you have a webcam going in a chat room, and they'll think, okay, they get gloated into doing something inappropriate that they think is going to be private in a room. They don't realize in 20 seconds you can download, there's a little program that runs in the background that records everything that you're doing on there. And then another program that goes out there and slices it up into individual pictures. So then what the individual comes back and says, you know what, I got your picture. And he'll send it to you. And he'll say, you know what, if you don't do this, I'm going to do this. And he'll terrify these poor children, he really would.
In the last couple of years, would you say that we're seeing more of this?
Yeah, we're seeing a absolute dramatic increase in this. I would say starting last year and even worse this year. I'm aware of just in the couple first days of school, we received 5 or 6 phone calls that included cases along those lines. And you never know whether it's another child doing that, or is that an adult acting like a child, trying to get inappropriate pictures of that child.
That's where the cyber predator comes into play.
So we're seeing the two worlds married. Our biggest concern, or at least my biggest concern, is that that will increase that phenomenon that we're seeing in the suicide rate, where if you get a child out there that realizes he made a mistake, and now here's the visual evidence, and here's some guy spreading these things around to tell you to do something else, will you do something to harm yourself? And it really does concern
They think
me.
their life is over, that's it.
Exactly, exactly.
And Brian, I was going to ask you, what programs are there in place, to prevent this from happening, both in schools or at home?
Well, the Nassau County District Attorney's Office has been speaking for years at schools and to PTAs and teachers about these things. But recently what we've done is District Attorney Kathleen Rice had us build a new program. Because when we started this, it was all about cyber predators, keeping you safe on the internet. Then the next step was, as kids were doing what cyber predators would do, which was, attack kids, secretly get information, it expanded to cyberbullying. And now that the sexting has exploded, we realized we had to put together a comprehensive program. So we built a program called Stop Then Send. Stop being STOP, standing for actually to study the content of what you're about to send on the internet. We try and teach children to do that first. Then to think about others, whether that other person is going to be harmed by what they're going to say or what they're going to send on the internet, or whether others can use it to harm them. Then only then, when it's appropriate, or whether or not it's safe, then to put it on the internet. And P standing for pictures.
So sorry to interrupt you. We're running out of time. Do you want to direct people to a website where they can get more information, if there is one?
Well, the Nassau County District Attorney's Office has a website. And of course, you can always contact our office to speak at schools as in Suffolk.
Right.
Great. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us at NYIT Roundtable. I'd like to thank our panelists again for being here and talking about this very important issue. I'm Tania Carvalho, your host. We'll see you again next time.